everyone, and welcome back to Lavender Cottage Fibre Arts podcast. This is going to be one of our normal podcast episodes where we share things that we've been working on, things that we've recently finished, and any future plans that we have. Welcome to our channel. If you're new here, we're very happy to have you here, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back to one of our videos. Before we go any further, we would like to acknowledge that we're recording this video on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and extend our respect to their elders past, present and emerging, as well as any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who are watching today's video. We are podcasting to you from Naarm or Melbourne in Australia, and my name is Anna.
I'm Pia.
And if you can't tell, we are identical twins.
Yep.
And so for today, I think we actually have quite a bit of a variety of crafts, don't we?
It's a very multi-crafty episode.
Yes. So on the fibre arts side of things, I only have knitting, although I do have a crochet plan, but I don't have any crochet projects.
Well, sewing is it involves textile, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So I've got some knitting and sewing, and Pia's got a very multi-crafty array.
Knitting, ceramics, and some papercraft.
Card making, and
Yes.
I guess gardening in a way as well, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll see
it's craft adjacent.
what we mean by that. So it's all like making and creating stuff.
Yes.
So I'll just tell you what I'm wearing first. This is actually something that I finished. I don't even think it was last year. I think it's from the year before.
It was one of the first, I feel like the first sort of knitted garments that you made, wasn't it?
So I've worn it quite a bit. But this is called the So Summer shirt, which is probably not appropriate to wear today because it is February in Australia. So it is
technically summer, but it's freezing.
And ostensibly the hottest month of the year, but it is currently... Well, my watch says it's 18 degrees, but it actually
we're just in a bit of a cold snap, and it's kind of rained most of this week.
And so it's quite overcast as well. So
it's good crafting weather.
Yes, it is very good crafting weather, but hopefully the light is okay.
Yeah.
This is the So Summer shirt by Jessie Maed Designs, and the yarn I used was one from Rainbows and Sprinkles. From memory, I think the colourway was called Seafoam, but I don't think she has this colour anymore. So, yeah, that's what I'm wearing. So, I think we can jump into
our first section.
Yep.
So our first section of the podcast is called Hot Off the Hooks, which is where we discuss any finished objects or things that we've recently completed. Hook referring to crochet, but I think today all of our finished objects are
hot off other
things.
Yeah.
So we have hot off the card making table, hot off the kiln, hot off the sewing machine, and hot off the knitting needles.
Yes, but no hot off the hooks. Yep. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So my first finished objects I have is some cards that I have made recently. I'll just hold them a bit closer so you can see. I don't know if you can read that, but it says happy birthday to you. So this was a birthday card that I made for my dad. And the technique I use for this, I saw it on like a YouTube tutorial that you like kind of ink up each stamp. So these are like a rubber stamp. You ink up each stamp with a few different shades of green. And then before you actually press it down onto the paper, you just give it a very light mist with like a water spray bottle.
So they sort of like blend
together. And that's what kind of...
it almost kind of looks like watercolour painting kind of effect.
Yeah, that it gives it like kind of a watercolour effect, that the colours kind of like blend into one another when you stamp it down. And I think that look kind of like lends itself well to like leaf and kind of like nature themed kind of things. I guess obviously if it was a stamp that had a lot of like lines in it of like very sort of intricate details, then that probably wouldn't work because a lot of the design would be lost. But because these were more just like the block shapes of the leaves, I thought I'd give that a go. And our dad is quite into sort of like gardening and nature and that kind of thing. I thought that this kind of suited him.
Alley, yes.
Rather than like, I feel like a lot of like card making supplies for birthday things have more, I guess you'd say like traditional like birthday themed things like balloons and candles and cakes and things like that. Which is
like, I don't know, a glass of champagne or something.
Yeah, which is maybe not so much up his alley, but I think he really liked that card. So that was that one. And then the other card that I've made, I actually just made this morning, and this is a card for, oops, you can hopefully see that. It says, welcome baby, you are so loved. Maybe is that focused?
Which is a bit closer, yeah.
And just in kind of
Yep.
pastel-y type colours. And this is for one of Anna's work colleagues is going on maternity leave soon to have
Yes.
a baby girl.
Maybe we'll take some photos just in case. I think it maybe did.
Didn't
Maybe
quite
because the
focus.
colours are very light.
Yeah,
it had
it's
a
very
bit
sort of like
trouble.
pastel-y.
Yeah. But yeah, I asked Pia if because I've actually got a baby gift knit that I'll show you when it's my turn. So Pia made me a nice little card to go with it.
And inside the card, I have stamped, again, it might not show up because it's sort of like a tone on tone, but it just says congratulations on your little one. And then on the back, and actually maybe I can show on this card because I think I used a darker ink that it might show up a little bit better. From, I can't remember if it was Old to New or Spellbinders that I had ordered some, I don't know, maybe it hasn't focused. I ordered some craft supplies from them like ages ago, and then they just randomly out of the blue sent me like a thanks for being a customer or whatever, like gift. And one of the things was like a stamp of my name.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So yeah, so now I can like stamp on the back and it just says crafted with love by Pia. The stamp they actually sent me had my full name, but like I don't really feel like putting my full name on the back of.
So did you just cut it off? Or
No, I just like covered up the surname with like a piece of tape when I was like inking up the
okay.
stamp, and then I peeled the tape off before I stamped it, so that part of the stamp just didn't have ink on it. But I actually am like, maybe I should just cut it because I honestly can't think of a time where I'd ever want to like put my full name. Like I don't know, maybe if people are entering stuff in like competitions and stuff, they would have their full name on it. But
or if like I guess if you had a business of making cards or something.
yeah, but then you'd probably just have like your business name.
Yeah, like
as
it
well.
would be like cards by Pia or something.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my little paper crafting things that I've done so far. And I do still need to make you some thank you cards for your friends, your knitting friends who gave you some nice Christmas gifts.
Oh,
I think.
yes.
And then my other hot off the something is hot out of the kiln, which is a few ceramic things that I have done recently. So firstly, I've done some tiles.
Maybe once you've shown them, you can pass them to me and I can...
I mean, hopefully you can tell what that is.
Some of them up.
So that is an orange, obviously. And then some strawberries.
Yep.
A lemon. This one, I think the like yellow colour that I used maybe was a little bit light in some places, but I think from far away it looks okay. And then I have some tulips.
Maybe I will put down the fruit ones because I think people have seen the fruit ones and then I can hold the flower.
The flower ones, yep. So they're tulips.
Yep. Very nice. The sort of like pale pink colour, yep.
Some poppies.
Red poppies, yep.
And then lastly, the dog hair on that one, some daffodils.
Very nice.
And so these I made the tiles and then I obviously painted them as well. And so the, like, I don't know if you can kind of see if I hold it like that, the like designs on them is like a design. I think applique is maybe the terminology that's used, which I guess is similar to like in sewing, that you are like adding something on top. So yeah,
you're applying it, I guess.
Yeah. So some of the things like the poppies and the tulips, I had like a cutter that had like a stamp to stamp the kind of like center line and like the lines of the tulip. The daffodils, I just freehand cut that one out.
I think that still looks very nice.
And yeah, the fruit was all just freehand, but I did have a
leaf.
thing for the leaf to do like the I think the leaf actually. No, I think the leaf, it did like the shape of the leaf, but then I added the lines, like the veins of the leaf with just like a little tool.
And how about these little sort of the orange blossom things? Was that a stamp or you...
I had a cutter, but then I just used like a tool to like press in the like center. Oh, yeah. And the same for the strawberry flowers.
Nice.
Yeah, so they are kind of like quite textural, I guess, that, and like, you know, on the strawberries, like where the seeds are, I did like little dimples.
This would be a cool decoration. I think obviously if you had like a fruit and veggie garden, but also you could put something like that in your kitchen.
In a kitchen, well. Yeah, I guess because it's kind of food themed. So, because I've done, I think I've shown in previous video episodes of this podcast some other like flower ones that I've done, and I wanted to make some more, and then I kind of was thinking, oh, like I don't know what other flowers I could do, and then I thought fruit And I mean, I could even maybe do some like vegetable or like herb themed ones are also like kind of garden, because these are all just like decorations
And actually,
to go in my garden.
all of these are things that you, I mean, not you don't have poppies and daffodils and tulips, but you do have...
I do have some tulips.
Oh, you do?
In spring, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever saw them. You do have strawberries, oranges,
yes,
and lemons.
So it's not false advertising, because I do actually, I'm not putting, a picture of a pineapple or something that I don't grow myself. But I suppose for all of these, like, I might make some more. I know, because we're filming at my parents' house, and both Mum and Dad were kind of angling towards being gifted some of these tiles. So I can potentially make some more as like gifts for them. But yeah, I think just in terms of other ideas for different designs, they kind of have to be something that is like a little bit, I guess you can represent it in sort of like
simplified,
a cartoony kind of like 2D depiction of it. So like some very complicated flower, like an orchid or something like that, would probably just be quite difficult, or it would just be a different
something
style.
too simple, like, I don't know, like a plum or whatever. Like,
it would just be like a round purple ball kind of thing that you maybe wouldn't be immediately obvious. But I feel like something like the citrus, for example, that you can do like the segments of the citrus, that it makes it easily. And I suppose with the lemon, that it's like the shape of the lemon that you can straight away tell like this is a lemon kind of thing. So I don't know what I mean. Maybe cherries would be like another fruit that's quite sort of like
has a
recognizable
and
but
apples, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or pears?
Yeah, pear, I suppose, because pears have like quite a distinctive shape as well. And a shape that's like distinctive but not too hard to make in sort of
and
like
if you
a
did
2D.
like one cut in half, you could do like little seeds and stuff.
Yeah. So that's my FOs,
and
I think.
You have one more as well, don't you? The planter basket.
Oh yes, but we'll just put a picture of that. So for our dad's birthday, I made him like a hanging planter basket.
Yes. We just didn't want to bring it inside because it has
the plant
and like the dirt.
So I didn't want to like get dirt
everywhere.
everywhere.
Hanging it up in front of the camera and it's like
so we'll
dirt
just put
everywhere.
some pictures or like maybe a video of
I
it.
think we can make some B-roll footage.
Yeah. That was actually like, I just had like the vision of this planter in my head for the longest time, and then I finally made it. It took me forever. And I think I think I learned some things along the way. Like I probably, if I make another one again, which I think I will make some more hanging planter things, because I quite like hanging plants and I think it's a nice thing to give as a gift as well. I maybe would roll the clay out a little bit thinner. Like I think it doesn't weigh like, a ton or whatever, but maybe just to make it a little bit lighter. And
can I ask as well, how does it work with like, because obviously with a lot of hanging plant things, it's like a wire basket, so like the water can come out. Does the water just go through the clay? Or?
Well, so the clay that I used, it is an earthenware clay, so it is porous, but it is glazed on the outside. So I guess like over time, like there might just be a bit of like crazing in the glaze from the clay, like kind of expanding and contracting as it absorbs moisture, which I like think is probably okay, especially because it's outside and it's not something that people are going to be eating out of. I think like from a
and I mean if it doesn't last absolutely forever, like it's not going to disintegrate within like a month, but like if it breaks after 10 years or whatever.
But yeah, so I think I did mix in some like perlite, which is just like this sort of porous rock, into the potting soil to help with drainage, because there's no drainage hole in it, so I just made the soil, I guess, like kind of a draining soil. But that's kind of what I've done for a lot of the hanging plants that I have at my house, and they have survived. So it seems to work.
Okay. I was just I mean I have no sort of gardening aptitude, so I was just interested.
And that was actually the first thing I've made using paper clay, which is a type of clay that has like cellulose fibers from like pulped paper mixed in with the clay. The clay is not actually made of paper, like it's not paper mache or whatever, because that you probably couldn't put a plant in there, because when you water it would just fall to bits. But so the point of that is that it's meant to be sort of stronger when you're joining things together. And because you'll see from the pictures, the design that I made, like the planter sort of half sphere kind of shape, and then I cut out, similar to like what I've done for these tiles, I had like different shapes of leaves that I then attached on as like a raised design. So I thought I would try paper clay for just for those things to join on a bit easier. And also the other advantage, I guess, for paper clay is when the clay gets fired, all of the paper content of it just gets incinerated. So it's meant to be that the final product is a bit lighter in weight than if it was made from just normal clay. So I mean, that was just like interesting to try using a different material and see how it worked. Yeah. So
okay, so I do have
put these down so I don't.
Oh yeah, good idea. I have some knitting and some sewing FOs to share. So I think only one of these I was working on in our last episode. So I'll start off with those. And these are just a pair of vanilla socks that I knitted for myself. So the main colour is from Loco, and the colourway was called About Damn Time, and then the contrast colour is from Hodgepodge Skeins, and it might look black. I'm not too sure if it looks black on the screen, but it's actually a very... I think it looks
dark blue.
Yeah, it's a very dark navy with some sort of tonality. That one's from Hodgepodge Skeins, and it was called Sapphire, and that was just a leftover that I had from, I used it as a contrast colour in a stripy jumper I made last year. So I didn't have enough of that to do the heels as well. I just did the cuff and the toes. And this is just like a standard vanilla sock. I hadn't done a heel flap and gusset for ages. I'd just been doing the fish lips kiss heel. So I just decided to, I don't know, just for fun, just do a heel flap and gusset instead. So yeah, they're just vanilla socks, probably for me, potentially for my mum if she wants them. Like we have the same, more or less the same size feet, I think. But yeah, that's that one. And then the next vanilla sock that I've been working on, these are, and actually I should say both of these, I haven't blocked them yet. So I think particularly these ones maybe look a little bit sort of more bubbly, a bit bubbly, but I'm sure that will be smoothed out in blocking. These ones are a pair of socks that I made for my dad for his birthday. So for my dad's socks, I do a 72 stitch cast on instead of 64. So I just wasn't confident that I would be able to get the full cuff out of the contrast colour and heels and toes with just a 20 gram mini. So I decided to actually just put a few stripes of the contrast colour in the cuff, and this is actually the first time I've done a 3x1 ribbing in the cuff. I don't know, felt like doing it for something a bit different.
Kind of a bit more sporty.
Yeah, I think it does have a bit of a sporty look, especially with the stripes in the cuff. And I was glad that I just did the stripes because I think the contrast colour, I had like not even 1 gram of it left, so I definitely wouldn't have been able to knit the whole cuff. And again, I did a heel flap and gusset with these. So these ones, the main colour is from Ruby and Rose's yarn, and it was like a one-of-a-kind colourway that she had. So the name was just like October. I think that was just like the month that she dyed it. And then the contrast colour is from Ren and Ollie, and the colourway is called Evergreen. Ren and Ollie, they're a South Australian based indie dyer, but I'm actually not sure if they're dyeing yarn anymore. Like their website is still up and running, but a lot of things are out of stock. And the last like post on their social media was I think about a year ago, so I think maybe they're not dyeing anymore.
And they're just selling
new
like
stuff.
whatever they have left.
Maybe whatever they have left, and but they didn't make any kind of like big announcement like
they're closing down,
we're closing,
going on a break or anything.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it is from Ren and Ollie, and I think it goes quite well with the main colour. And so my other knitting project is like a little set that I made for this work colleague who is starting her maternity leave on Tuesday. So we're having like a
morning tea.
We're going to a restaurant actually for lunch for her kind of going away thing. So I thought I would make a beanie. So this is the beanie that I've made. And this beanie, I just got a pattern from Drops Design.
To get like a baby born doll.
Yeah, I was like trying to put it on like a teddy bear or something, but then because of the ears, it looked...
I don't know, there's probably some baby like doll somewhere stashed around.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, like somewhere. Like I'm sure like some of our like childhood dolls would still be around. So yeah, I used, because I wanted to do something that was an all over rib. because I think that just makes the sizing a bit more flexible because the fabric's a bit stretchier, and I wanted it to be a 2x2 rib because I find, for me personally, my 2x2 rib just looks a lot neater than my 1x1 rib, and I find it more enjoyable to knit as well. So I was basically just looking for patterns, and actually one thing that I found a bit difficult is, like, it seemed like, I don't know, baby beanie patterns, and actually if you have like a good go-to recommendation, I would be happy to hear it. But like the sort of dimensions that they recommended it for and the stitch count seem to vary quite wildly. So in the end I actually just looked up, like, the World Health Organization had like a graph of like the
like baby head
circumference at each month of, like, I don't know, the first 18 months of life, and I just basically found like the 50th percentile.
Like, what's the average?
The average? And I kind of,
or median, I don't know.
Found one that kind of matched up with that, and this particular design, so it's called Blue Cloud Beanie by Drops Design, matched up with that because, so the baby is due, I think she's actually really not got a lot of leave before the baby comes. Baby's due in early March, so I kind of thought if I knit it kind of for about a 3 to 6 month old size,
that will be during winter,
coincide with winter time in Australia. So I used 2 leftover yarns that I had from socks. Actually one was a leftover from a shawl and one was leftover from some socks. So it's a marl of 2 fingering weight yarns held together. And the 2 yarns that I used, one was another one from Hodgepodge Skeins called Chantilly Lace, which was like a very, very, very pale pink. And the other one was from NNK Yarns, and that one I think was just called Christmas 2023 sock set. And I think that one I used that one for the socks that I test knit for Kath, which I can't remember if it was for her Darwin sock. No, it was for her Brisbane socks. Actually, now I remember, because NNK Yarns is a Queensland, like a Brisbane-based dyer, and I wanted to use a Brisbane-based yarn dyer for the Brisbane socks. So I held those 2 together, and then I actually had a little bit left over, so I decided to make
teeny tiny baby socks.
Yeah, like, I guess they're kind of socks, but I guess because they're DK weight, it's sort of more like a
booties.
Booty type of thing. And I just decided to fold the leg over because, I don't know, to me they just look a bit like strange. I think.
Yeah, I think they look cute with the leg fold.
Yeah, I think they look
like, it looks like a booty. It
looks more like a shoe, I think, in a way. And like these, I think I knit as like 3-month-old size, so like the kid's not going to be walking when it's wearing these. Like,
unless it's like a super prodigy baby.
It's more just to keep their feet warm, like if they're out and about in the pram kind of thing. So I actually only had enough to knit 1 sock, but then I decided the Drops the pattern, it recommends that you knit the beanie for 19 centimeters before you start the crown decreases, and so that actually came down to about here. It was just like comically
like it's gonna be like a balaclava.
Yeah, it almost seemed, or like it almost seemed like
baby bank robber.
The length of an adult beanie, but like the circumference of a child, like that for a baby with like a really long head.
Or do you, if people like roll the brim over like multiple times? Or something?
You could either roll the brim over double, or like you'd have to fold it up like all the way. Like,
oh, that looks.
Or it would end up being like one of the, you know, those beanies that have like extra fabric on top, like a bit hipstery kind of thing. And I just thought that would look a bit, I don't know, silly on a baby. So I decided to rip.
But in the that's a pattern down there. In the photo, it doesn't look like.
Yeah, maybe I'll grab it off the floor.
Yeah. Sorry, I noticed on the floor. Like, it doesn't look like.
No, I think this baby might just have like a really big head or something. I honestly don't know. I shouldn't criticize that baby. I'm sure it's a very lovely baby.
Very cute.
But yeah, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's my gauge, like my stitch gauge or row gauge was different to the pattern. I honestly didn't do a gauge swatch for this because I thought, I'm just going to knit it anyway. So yeah, because I only had enough yarn to do 1 sock, and then I thought, this beanie looks like weirdly long, so I just ripped back before I did the crown decreases, and ripped back enough rows that I would get like 1 more sock worth of yarn out of it, and then re-knit the decreases. And I actually ran out of the Chantilly lace on the last 2 rows of the second sock, so for the last 2 rows I held the NNK yarn double, and I honestly can't tell like which sock that was for. Like, I don't think that really matters.
So it was just for one of them that you...
Yeah. I think maybe this one you can see it has a bit more speckles at the very end of the foot.
Like when you point that out, but like...
I don't think anyone's going to notice that. So, yeah, that is my little baby gift for my work colleague.
To go with that
card. Nice little card.
I'll put that to you now so we can put that
thank you.
together.
So I won't forget. And then my other 2 FOs is some sewing. So I got some nice Christmas gifts from some of my knitting group friends over Christmas. So I wanted to make them some project bags. So I finished 2 and I've got 1 more that I'm sort of part way through. I'm actually hoping, because we're having our knitting group is meeting up next Saturday, I'm actually kind of hoping I can finish it tonight. So if I do, like, I obviously won't have it at our next video, but I'll just take some nice photos. So this is the first one, and it's all the same pattern that I've used before. So the Etsy seller is called Pattern Sewing Shop. I think she's from South Korea, but I'll put a link to her, like the pattern, and she also has like a YouTube video tutorial. So that's the first one. So it's some sheep wearing like Fair Isle jumpers, and then I've just done like the orange gingham for the handles, the bottom of the bag, and then the lining of the bag. And I do, like when I make these, I like to do it's got 1 internal pocket. I like to do the pocket in the same fabric that I use for the outside, and it does have these exposed seams that you then finish with bias binding. So for this one I just used like a peach coloured bias binding because I felt that it kind of matched a little bit some of the colours in the print. And this is the other one. So this is like purple lilac fabric with a bunch of cats on it. And then for the other fabric I've done a green gingham, and then again I've done the internal pocket just in that lilac colour. And this one I actually used, I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. I've used, I don't know if you can see it, it's actually like a pink gingham for
but sort of like a mini gingham.
Yeah, for the bias binding, for the seams. Nice. So yeah, I think they look cute, and I'm happy like with how they've turned out. And I like this pattern because it has like handles and a drawstring.
I feel like I'm one of those like airline people demonstrating.
Yeah, so that is those 2 bags. So yeah, hopefully my friends enjoy them. I think I might just it's a bit hard to iron them, but I think I might just give them a bit of a steam, because I guess like you iron the fabric when you cut it out, but then when you're sewing it, it gets a bit crumpled. Yeah, so those are my sewing FOs. So I've had a bit of had fun getting a little bit back into doing a little bit of sewing, but I think I'm very slow at sewing. Like I think I'm just not very efficient. Like I think I probably could do things in a way that was quicker and that kind of thing, but I just haven't quite figured it out. So yeah, those are all my FOs. I just realised I did forget to say the pattern that I used for these though.
Yep.
So these I use like the stitch counts and the instructions for like the heel flap and gusset and stuff like that from the Rye DK pattern, which is by Tin Can Knits. But instead of doing their pattern, it's like stockinette on the back with a garter panel down the front of the leg. I just did an all over 2x2 rib just to kind of match with the beanie. But I kind of got the stitch count and the length recommendations from the Rye DK pattern by Tin Can Knits, which is both of these patterns actually, the beanie and the sock pattern. They're free patterns. Yeah.
Love a free pattern.
Yes, we do. So I think that's all. Actually, I feel like our FO section today was quite long, so which is good.
I mean, I guess it's been like sort of the Christmas holiday period.
Yeah,
and I had some time off work.
And these you can crank these out in like a few hours per sock kind of thing. Like they're knit up pretty quickly.
So we've been rather productive.
Yes. Yeah. And I think you said, the way you do ceramics is a bit sort of batch processing.
Yes.
So sometimes your FOs is a bit sort of feast or famine kind of thing.
Yeah, they're kind of all clustered together.
Yeah. Nice. So now it's time for Whip It Good. WHIP is an acronym for work. I was going to say whip in progress. Work in progress. There's like that rest in peace, rip in peace. Work in progress. So this is where we share projects that we currently have on the go.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a little bit of a mixed bag again, don't you?
Yeah,
for
I've
this
got knitting
one?
and ceramics.
Ceramics. I just have knitting. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing is I did keep true to my word and cast on a project for our friends that had a baby in December. So this is I think it's called the Easy Knit Baby Blanket, which is a free pattern from the Sweater Collective blog. And I'm knitting this in the Sheepy's Chunky Monkey, which is an acrylic, I think it's Aran weight yarn. So it has been working up reasonably quickly, and so I'm just going to do sort of like a rainbow, and it's like a chevron style stripe.
Is this the one that like some of the, like a percentage of it is recycled plastic, or is that one of the other?
I'm not familiar with that. It might be, but I'm not 100%
I just remember seeing some yarn at your house, and I think the ball band said that part of it was from recycled plastic.
Maybe. I can't remember.
Look that up. But you find, as far as acrylic goes, this actually feels pretty nice, I think.
Yeah, and it says on the ball band, I don't know how true this is, that it has like anti-pilling technology or something. I don't know what that
sounds a bit sort of
means,
like...
but yeah, but I guess like something acrylic if it's sort of like machine washable. But so I guess because this is sort of fairly thick weight, that this would be more like a winter, like sort of stroller blanket. So
yeah.
I do need to keep working on it, because I think I was like working on it quite sort of, not religiously, but like I was quite enthusiastic about it for a little while, and then I've kind of stalled a little bit. But yeah, I guess because it is sort of Aran weight yarn that it's knitting up quite quickly. So yes, I'll have
is your plan to do just one repeat of the colours, or are you going to do multiple?
I think maybe two, because I feel like if I do one, it will be
not very long.
Yeah, because I guess I've got red, orange, yellow, green, and then blue, purple, pink. Then it would be kind of like that long. So.
And do you know roughly how many grams you've used of each colour? I guess
I don't know. But I think I'm definitely going to have more than enough from each.
Maybe for the next colour before you start, you could...
Yeah, I could
weigh the ball before and after, just to give you an idea of like what is the kind of maximum
length that I could go to. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that one's that one. So, yes, I have to keep going. I think actually, I feel like maybe I'll ask for your opinion after this. I think I did take a photo of the like colours that I wanted to use, but I think like looking back at it, because I think I did sort of like red, orange, yellow, green, and then I had sort of like an aqua-y kind of teal colour in between green and blue, and then I had like a more like turquoise blue, and then another blue. There was like three different blues, but it might be a bit blue heavy, which I think it might just look a bit strange.
Like out of proportion kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think I might... I don't mind the idea of doing one colour that was kind of halfway between blue and green, but maybe not to have like two.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'll ask your opinion of what one should be culled, because that, I guess, will affect like the next colour that I end up doing. So that's that one.
You've been very productive. I think you've had like a bit of a like an upswing in your knitting mojo, I think.
Yes. And then the next thing that I've been working on is the Heart on Fire, which is like a tank top. Where is the lace panel?
I think this one you did have in our previous episode as a whip, but you had only knit like the ribbing,
just the ribbing at the bottom,
or you hadn't knit enough that it was really sort of visible.
Oh, yeah, but you can see there. You can that's definitely the kind see of the because I think I've done 4 repeats of that, and then just on the sides it's just got sort of like little eyelets.
Yeah, I really like this. I'm kind of considering.
Yeah, so this is a free pattern from Drop Studio, and I can't remember if I already said it. It's called Heart on Fire, and the yarn that I'm using is called Cedar from Fiddlesticks, which is like a cotton bamboo blend. So and it's a sport weight. I feel
like that's the challenge. I don't know, in Australia,
nice for summer.
I feel like there's just not a lot of sport weight yarn available, but I guess maybe you could probably get away with, like, if it was a DK that was on the thinner side, you could probably get away with it as well.
Yeah. So I had a bit of a setback with this one because I was just using, like, because I'm using bamboo needles for this, but I was using just like a really cheap, you know, $2 or $3 pair that I got from Lincraft. And I think because those ones, like the cable was basically just like this plastic tube that was kind of heat shrunk onto the end of the needle, and I just broke the cable. So I did have to get some help from Anna to help pick up the stitches. And I think when I was knitting the row last night, when I slipped it all onto this needle, and then I had, I think, one more where I had to like pick up. There was like one stitch that hadn't been picked up, but I think I did count the stitches and it is correct.
Okay.
And like it looks right.
Like you can't see any drop stitches.
No. So I think it is. I think I did manage to get everything, because it was kind of this section here, and like those eyelets look like they're in the right spot. Like I haven't got any extra eyelets of like a dropped stitch or anything.
I don't think so. And there's no, on the back, there's no sort of loops where you've slipped a stitch instead of knitting it or something. So yeah, I think that's fine.
So it seems like I've managed to rescue it. But yeah, that was just a bit of a setback. But so these needles that I got are the ones from Chowgu, and the cable seems to be like, it looks like it's some sort of like wire, but then has the kind of like, I think, plastic coating over it.
I think that is like, they're known for their cables being very good quality, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but they're sort of like memory free, like they don't kink up on you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've only knitted like 2 rows on this. The one thing that I definitely do notice, which I think is probably why I broke the other one, because I think the other one had this very sort of like, not silicone, but like rubbery kind of feel to it, that I think the yarn really like gripped onto it. So when you're like moving the stitches around,
there's a lot of tension.
It all bunches up, and it would just be really like, I had to use a lot of force to like move the stitches around, and I think that's how I broke it, because I was like pulling on it really hard. Whereas the stitches seem to be moving much more freely as well.
Oh, that's good.
Which is good.
But you just bought a fixed circular at the moment. So actually that is one thing as well that me and Pia are contemplating, like a joint purchase between us, because I have like an interchangeable set, but they're metal needles.
Yeah.
We were contemplating to get a set of wooden needles, but just we weren't sure whether to go for like birch wood or bamboo, and if you have a particular recommendation for a brand
for a particular set. Yeah, because I think for this one I was like, because I know I guess the interchangeable sets, like they're a bit of an investment kind of thing, but I was kind of like, for this one project, like I just want to like finish this. And I think also because these are 3mm needles, which I think you said is a size that doesn't really exist in US sizing, that a lot of the interchangeable sets don't include a 3mm size.
So you'd have to buy it separately anyway.
So you'd have to buy it
like
separately.
I think you could buy the tips separately,
just by themselves, and use the
you
cable.
wouldn't necessarily have to buy a fixed circular, but their sets don't automatically include that size.
I mean, I think this was this set of fixed circulars I think was maybe about $13, so it wasn't too expensive. The ones that I bought from Lincraft were like $3, but I would not recommend them because they didn't even last one project.
Lincraft is like terrible these days. I really feel like it's gone like quite downhill. But yeah, I guess this isn't a podcast about Lincraft.
No.
But I think the brands that we were looking at was the Chowgu. They're bamboo. Their wood needles are bamboo.
And then there's a Knit Pro Symphony, which I have.
Symphony, and I think they have another one called J'adore. They're both wooden needles.
I don't know if I have it here. I do have like a pair of fixed circular of the Knit Pro Symphony, and I quite like them. And that's what I used for my next.
The other one was
whip.
the Loco or Lika. I'm not quite sure how to say it. They have wooden needle sets. But anyway, let's continue with your whips.
Yep.
This is an almost FO, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is.
Did you even have this cast on at our last video?
I don't think so, because I think I cast it on just before we went
when we went camping. Yeah. So actually, in our vlog, there's a brief moment where you'll see Pia knitting on this, yes.
But so this is the tip top tank. So I've like bound it off and I grafted the shoulders together.
Just have to like weave
but I just have to weave
ends.
in all the ends and block it. But yeah, so this is the tip top tank, which is the same pattern that Anna used for the green tank top that she had in one of our previous videos.
It already, like, you haven't even washed it, and like it already feels a lot drapier though than the linen. Because this, you said, is a bamboo yarn.
So the yarn for this is True Boo from Lion brand, and I think the colourway was called Mauve.
And is it 100% bamboo, or is it a blend?
I think it is. I think it is.
Okay.
I mean, because it's called True. because I know they have kobu, which I think is obviously like cotton
and bamboo.
And then I think they have one called nubu, which I think might be like a bamboo and like some other kind of like plant-based fibre blend, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember. Anyways, we can put a... I mean, it's a commercial yarn, so like you'll be able to find the details. But yeah, so that's that. So I just have to block it.
Nice.
And yeah, I think I'm quite proud because this is my first ever like garment.
I think is a good pattern for a garment.
For a beginner, yeah. Like I would say for a beginner garment knitter, it was very achievable. Like you have to know how to knit, purl, join in the round, and then do like decreases.
Yeah, there's no increasing, is there? Just decreasing.
Decreases and then grafting the shoulders together. It is knit
from the bottom up. So I guess that's maybe one sort of very minor gripe about it. Like, I guess, and that's a gripe of anything that has a bottom up construction. Sometimes getting the length perfect is a little bit challenging. Yeah. But I guess you kind of learned from my mistakes and you...
Yes, because you told me that you accidentally made the shoulder straps too long, that it ended up being like one of those like gym tank tops that men wear. With their armholes like down right next to their waist or something.
Yeah, and to show off your nipple piercings at the gym.
Which I don't have nipple piercings, so I don't need a top like that. But so I also, like, before I joined the shoulders together, I just like pinned them together with like some stitch markers and like tried on to make sure that it was like that before I kind of like bound it off to make sure that the length was okay.
And so did you find that you did knit the straps a lot shorter than the pattern suggested, or?
I think so. I honestly can't remember.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, and it was a 3 needle bind off, which is not Kitchener stitch, I don't think, is it?
Oh. No, it's not.
Kitchener stitch
I couldn't remember whether you grafted them or you did a 3 needle bind off. I don't know why I told you.
I mean, I suppose probably...
That's just me misremembering, sorry.
Either outcome would be the same, like that you would sew them together.
Yeah, this probably has like a slightly neater and maybe a little bit stronger. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But anyways, I guess, that's a new technique as
well.
I
looked up a tutorial from Nimble Needles.
Okay.
A YouTube channel of how to do the 3 needle bind.
Yeah, I guess, that's a new technique. This one also you do the shoulders with a 3 needle bind off.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty common, I think, to me, like I think all of the garments that I have knit that have a bottom up construction, I'm just, I think now that you mention that, I think all of them use a 3 needle bind off for the shoulders. So.
And then my other whip is kind of almost finished, but it's just some more ceramics. So I made some more bells. I think I'd made these ages ago, and then I just kind of found them in my garage, but I hadn't painted them yet. So these are like little strawberry theme. And sorry, I'm just placing it down carefully. And then the other 2, these will be gifts for Anita, which is a daisy themed one, because I had one daisy bead left over, and then this one has ladybirds, and this request was for ladybirds. So I do just need to string these up, but I have ordered some more of the cord, because I also made to go with the strawberry ones.
I was thinking, are you going to show these? They're awesome.
These tiny cute little ceramic strawberry beads.
And how heavy are these? Could you make earrings out of them, or would they kind of like pull on? Oh, no, they're a bit heavy to
I think they would be a bit heavy. And I think also, because it's just earthenware clay, I think usually for jewellery people will make that out of porcelain, because I think porcelain is like more durable, I guess, because like something that's just decorative, it just sits there. Whereas like jewellery, like if you're taking clothes on and off and it, gets hit against things or whatever, like that maybe something a bit more durable is
very cute,
preferable. Though. But yeah, so these will be to go with the strawberry bells, but I had to order some more cord because this was the first time I ever glazed anything with a bead rack, which is like this sort of shelf thing that's made out of like the same material that kiln shelves are made out of, so it doesn't melt. But then between the shelves there's little wires, which is like a special wire that can go to like higher temperatures, because these go to about 1100 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but over 1,000.
Also very hot.
Yeah, very hot.
Yeah, like I think when you're that far away from like normal temperatures, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just extremely hot.
But so I did that so I can glaze on all sides, because you can't have anything with glaze touching the kiln.
Like it will get glued
kiln
to
shelf,
the
because the glaze melts and it basically turns into like liquid glass, and then it would get stuck. So if you do it on one of these bead racks with like a wire going through, that the thing is like suspended, so you can actually glaze it all around. But to be able to put it on the bead rack, because the wire, obviously to go to like a high temperature, has to be like fairly sturdy wire. So I just had to make the holes in the beads a little bit bigger. So the cord that I have, like, it's fine, but to get the beads to stay on there, I'd have to tie like 10 knots, whatever, and it just looked a bit ugly. So I just kind of wanted to order the next thickness up of cord, because I thought that would probably look a bit neater, that I will probably just be able to tie one knot and that will keep it in place. So that's what I'm waiting for that to arrive, and then I'll be able to like string these up and get them hanging up and finish your ones as well.
Nice.
So I think that's it for my whips.
Cool. I just have 2 whips that have like a reasonable amount of progress to show. I think my other whips that I've shown in previous podcasts, I just feel like I've knit like half a dozen rows on them, like nothing to sort of write home about. Yeah. So the first one I'll show you is the ball of yarn just fell on the floor. A test knit that I'm working on. So this is the Sandro Pullover by Knitting Phlegm, is the sort of online handle of the designer, or Flaminia is her name. I think she's from Italy, and it's an all over cable jumper, but the cabling is very minimal. I don't know if that's the right word. Like, you only cable every 14 rows, so it's not a kind of very complex cable design. Like, it looks quite minimalist, I would say. I'll hold up a little bit closer so you can see kind of the pattern. And the yarn I'm using is from Bendigo Woolen Mills, their Woodlands 8-ply in the colourway River Sand. That yarn has now been discontinued. I think basically every year they make a limited edition 8-ply. I think it's almost always an 8-ply, and it's something different every year, but I think they make it a tweedy one every couple of years.
Why is it like this?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
so
because you do fold it over?
Yeah, so I finished the ball that I was working on for the body. Like, I'm not finished the body yet, but I just kind of thought, before I finish the body, I think I actually want to knit the collar and the sleeves, because I think sometimes that can kind of alter a little bit how it sits. And probably, like, I know it's probably not quite long enough yet, but I think I'm getting close on the length of the body. So I think what I actually want to do is knit each sleeve to sort of maybe like 90% of the length or whatever that I want, and then wet block the whole thing and then finish everything off. So I've actually just picked up the stitches to do the collar, but it is a folded collar that I'm halfway through at the moment, so that's kind of why it looks a bit funny, because it has that the row of purl bumps to sort of get that
to signify kind of where it folds.
Well, and it just kind of helps it fold
evenly,
like naturally kind of thing. Like, it has
like it's like putting a crease in like some paper or something.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm almost finished. I think I've got like 3 more rows to do on the collar, and then I'm going to pick up and knit the sleeves and then finish everything off, I think, is my current strategy or approach. This one, the deadline for the test knit has actually passed, so I didn't get it finished in time, but Flaminia was very nice about it. Like, she was like, that's fine, you know, whenever you can finish it, I'm happy to like take any comments, feedback when you're ready. I think because this is her first, I'm not too sure if it's the first garment she's ever designed, but it's the first one she's ever designed with a view to publishing it. And I think she's actually I think she's studying, she said, engineering, I think. So like, she's not a full-time knitwear designer, so I think she's a bit more flexible about it. A bit more flexible about it, I think. So yeah, she's been really good and like, there were a few points of feedback that I already gave her, but I suppose probably the main thing, I think once I've picked up and knit the sleeves, then I can probably, apart from the final amount of yarn I've used, I think probably that's more or less I would know
Yeah.
all of my comments.
Yep. And I suppose if you can try it on, that you can comment about the sizing and that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. But I think obviously just to knit the rest of the body, I just continue knitting in pattern and then do a bit of ribbing. Like
Yep.
there's nothing complicated about that.
Yep.
The only other sort of bit that is a bit more complex will be the picking up the sleeves, and I can't quite remember if there's any like short row shaping on the shoulders. I can't quite remember, or I think maybe I haven't read far ahead enough in the pattern. But so I think in our last episode I was obviously somewhere on the body. Like I think I've done this little stitch marker I put in at the start of our holiday, so at least since our holiday I've knit from here downwards and done
the collar.
So
That's pretty good progress.
so that is one of my whips, but I obviously can really only work on that at home. Like I can't really take that on like
just because it's a bit bulky.
on the train at the moment. Yeah, it's a bit too big. So this is my public transport knitting project at the moment, is just another pair of vanilla socks. And I think I'm a bit of a convert. Like the first time I tried the small circumference circulars, I really hated it, but I actually now really like them. I suppose sometimes like your preferences. It does take a bit of getting used to, but I suppose like your preferences for how you do things can just kind of change. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I would also just feel like they're just like constantly the stitches that are about to like pop off. Or do you put needle stoppers on them?
I do have some really small needle stoppers that fit these.
Okay.
So I use a 2mm needle for socks just because I am a loose knitter. And so these are just going to be a pair of like pink scrappy socks. So some of these colours I know what they are and others I don't. So this one is from Heather Maed. It's the colourway is called Cherry Blossom. This colour is from a little woolly scrappy pack, so I don't know what it is. This is from Passion Flower and it's called Dusty Rose. This is another one from a scrappy pack, so I don't know what it is. And this is from Passion Flower and it's called... What's a flower that starts with A?
Azalea.
Yes, I was thinking acacia, but then I was like, isn't that a type of wattle? I don't think that would have like white with little sort of flecks of pink. It is azalea, that white one with little bits of pink, and then I've repeated again. So
Are you impressed with me for being able to know that?
Yeah,
it's like a mind reading thing.
Yeah, exactly.
To intuition.
So these ones I decided I am going to do fish lips kiss heel. I just like mixing up the heel styles that I make just to like remind myself of what they are. So I'm about to start the heel on this one and not quite on this one. I just kind of flick back and forth between the two. My only roadblock on these now is I have run out of this yarn here. So I think I'll have enough to do like the next stripe on this sock, but then I was going to have one more stripe of it in the foot. So I don't know if I'll try and find something similar or if I'll just have like these three colours in the foot.
And just make the stripes a bit longer?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. I will figure something out. Maybe I'll quickly have a look and see if I've got any other leftovers or minis that are similar to that, but I think I probably don't. So,
kind of pink and green.
Yeah. But I think if I have that colour only on the leg, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, I guess if they're scrappy socks, like, is that kind of the point of them as well?
Yeah, I guess I did want them to kind of... Like, I wanted them to be the same as each other, but I guess maybe if this exact colour progression is not met...
Continued throughout.
Maybe that's not the end of the world. So, yeah, those are my two whips that I'm mainly focusing on at the moment. And I do have, that one more project bag to make for another friend, and then I have a whole bunch of project bags to make for Pia as well.
I've ordered some.
So that is all of our whips, I think.
So now it's time for our final segment, which is called Dream Weaving, which is where we talk about any future plans or things that we're planning to start on soon.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
What are your dreams?
So I have actually just today, like literally half an hour ago or whatever, just started
Yes.
on a little gauge swatch, which, I mean, I don't think you can really see anything yet because I've only done like 3 rows. But so this is in this yarn from a brand called Queensland Collection, which is not actually from Queensland, Australia. It's made in Portugal, I think.
Oh, very random.
But it's called Myrtle, and they describe it as a sustainable and compostable. I don't plan to compost my top, but anyway, it's good to know. Vegan silk spun from eucalyptus. I just thought that was cool, and like it feels quite nice and like looks quite shiny. And so what I'm currently doing a swatch for is the lace sort of leaf pattern from the Leaffinity top, which I think is by Melanie Reinhardt which is on Ravelry. So yeah, I'm just knitting the like leaf motif to get the gauge.
So is this, what's the weight of this? Is it a
Aran is what they listed as?
I think so. I'm just trying to, oh yeah, 165 meters. Yeah. So it says 100% lyocell. So is that what lyocell means? Is made of eucalyptus?
Well, I think it's just like, it means that it's made from like a plant kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't think it is necessarily always from eucalyptus.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's the same as like viscose can be from like different types of plants. I think. I don't know.
I really don't know much about like.
No, neither do I. About plant science. I mean, not plant science, like plant-based fibre science.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I have heard people say that, like, bamboo yarn or whatever is like greenwashing because it's just viscose kind of thing. But I also don't know why it's like things like this.
Is that bad though?
Well, yeah, why viscose? Because like cotton is also a plant fibre. Like,
and I thought bamboo stuff was kind of almost better for the environment because of like the bamboo grows so quickly. So like you don't need to have like, bulldoze a rainforest to build some bamboo because you only need a small patch of bamboo because it just
I don't know. I mean, maybe that is something that I should look into a bit more, is a sort of like, because I suppose if people, I mean, I'm not vegan, but I guess for people who are like using plant-based fibres for ethical reasons, then I suppose you maybe should also research and factor in the kind of environmental
like land clearing and like
impacts.
Water consumption.
And
although I suppose like to graze sheep you also need clear land, so like
but I guess also maybe like the like if there's a lot of chemicals used in the processing and things like that, that can also impact the sort of like sustainability and like ethics of a fibre. I mean, maybe that would be a topic that we could research for one of our Knit and Chat podcasts.
I think I might end up just feeling really bad about myself.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it's also the type of thing that like I'm not like a sort of industrial chemist or whatever. Like maybe it's better off leaving it to people who actually know what they're talking about to talk.
I know
about
for that reason, like I think superwash yarn is a little bit controversial because I think they use some pretty
nasty chemicals,
like, well, maybe not nasty but strong, to take the scales off the fibres, like to make it a smooth fibre.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, like I said, I'm not vegan. I am vegetarian, but like that's kind of irrelevant to this. But I was more just thinking like plant-based fibres, I guess, because this is kind of a light summery top, is probably better for kind of summer. And I think also this particular pattern was designed for cotton, so I think you've mentioned before that for like if a pattern is designed with a plant-based yarn, that it probably will get better results from using plant-based yarn than from using wool.
Yeah, and I mean also I don't know about like as a silk alternative, this may also be like more economical. Like this says $15.95. Did you get this in Australia?
Yes.
So that would be, I think, 16 Australian dollars is maybe like $10 US or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I haven't actually bought like silk yarn before, but I imagine it would be, and this is 100 grams, isn't it?
Yeah.
I imagine it might be quite a bit more expensive. So it might also just be like a more economical, in addition to being vegan. Like,
yes,
that might be another reason that people would be sort of interested in it. Cool. So is that your main dream weaving?
Well, my other main dream weaving is some sari weaving.
Oh, yes.
So I have managed to book into a sari weaving workshop in Tokyo because I'm going to Japan fairly soon, in just a bit over a month actually. It's really soon.
Have to get everything ready. Is that are they hard to get into? Because I know
no, not really, but I think it was just like in my head I was like, I've got 5 days in Tokyo, like, but because I'm doing it like a Intrepid, like a small group tour, but I booked a couple of nights in Tokyo before the tour starts. So I was like, I've got heaps of time, like I'll definitely be able to do it. But I think I didn't factor in, firstly, I didn't realize this, but one of the days that I'm in Tokyo is, I think, is actually a public holiday in Japan.
Oh, and don't they, Japan has like heaps of public holidays, don't they? Like they have like Children's Day, like Elderly Person's Day, I don't know, other Friendship Day, or like all these different days. Do you, what day is it?
I don't know. I should look it up. But then I also had a few other things that I wanted to like book in, and I kind of the main thing that I was waiting for was the Studio Ghibli Museum, because a friend of mine who has been to Japan before was like, it's harder than getting tickets to Taylor Swift. Like the tickets literally sell out in like minutes, and like it's insane trying to get tickets to that. So I was kind of like, maybe I should book that first, because then I will have the most chance of getting a ticket if I have, you know, a choice
any of these
days that I would be able to do that, rather than, because I think probably maybe a lot of people who miss out on tickets for that, it might be that they've only budgeted one day in their itinerary to do this specific activity, and
same
maybe
flexibility.
So anyways, I got a ticket for that, so I was like, yes. And then I went on the Sauri thing, and I was like, okay, there's one day that's still available that I haven't booked anything else yet. So I booked in for that, and then they emailed me and were like, sorry, there was like a glitch in their system that they didn't have any space on that day. So I was like really disappointed, but then they're like, oh, but our website like didn't show that we also have spots on some other days, so like tell us what other days you have available. And so I've managed to get a workshop on a Sunday.
Oh, and that's probably a good day, because I think I was reading about like your preparing for your trip to Napori Fabric Town. I want Pierre to go to Napori Fabric Town.
Yeah.
And I was just reading online, like in general, what are like shopping hours in Japan.
Okay.
And I think it did say that
are they closed on Sunday?
Not everywhere, but it said quite a lot of shops are closed on Sundays.
Okay.
And I think it also said that a lot of shops in Japan don't open until like 11 o'clock in the morning or something.
Okay.
Because I did watch a vlog, I honestly can't remember who, that went to Napori Fabric Town, and they said they got there at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and everything was closed, so they just had to kind of like hang around
for 2 hours.
Until things started. But anyway.
But yeah, so that will be fun. The other, like, I mean, this is not really like craft, but I guess it's like craft adjacent thing that I'm thinking about doing, but I haven't booked it in yet, is doing one of those like personal colour analysis things.
Just for a bit of a laugh.
Which is, where they like kind of drape you with like all different colours of fabrics to like find out like what colours like best suit your like skin tone and hair colour. So I thought that would be fun to do, just in terms of like, I mean, I guess it is relevant if you're like making your own clothes to figure out like what are good colours for you. I think I'll be devastated if they tell me that black is not a good colour for me.
If they're like, purple doesn't suit you, I'll be like, yes, please leave, or something. And they'll be like, this is my business.
Well, they'd be like, here's your analysis, and you'd be like, okay, I'm just going to ignore. I mean, because I guess like, even though like whatever colour is like your ideal colour or whatever for your skin tone and hair colour, you can obviously just wear whatever colours you like. Yeah, to be honest,
I think that's, I must admit, like I did for a while get a bit addicted to watching videos of people having it done, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And if I had like, you know, one Tatslotto, I would go and do this. But like one issue that I have with this is like the concept that it's about what colours flatter you. But to me, that's like what appeals to other people, whereas I'm like,
you just want to wear this colour.
If the colour appeals to me, I don't particularly care what other people think.
If you're like, I like this colour and it makes me feel good to wear a colour that I like.
Exactly.
I don't really mind if it's
like this is actually my jumper. Pierre's just wearing it because it's really cold. Really cold. And I don't know, wearing this jumper, I just always feel very happy when I wear this jumper.
Well, it says be happy for the moment.
Yes.
So. This moment.
But I just really like the colour. It just makes me happy wearing this colour of things.
Can you read that?
Yes. So if someone was like, that colour just doesn't suit you, I think I would just...
Yeah, if they tell me your like ideal colour is like poo brown or... I mean, I don't think they would. But anyways, I haven't 100% decided if I'll do that. I need to like figure out a few other things to see if I've got time as well, like what I want to prioritize, because I think when I travel, I think I can be a bit sort of like in for a penny, in for a pound, and want to just do absolutely everything and be like, oh, I might never come back here, so I have to do absolutely everything. But I think you just have to be a bit realistic, and it's just not possible. And I don't.
Yeah, I think not possible from like a money aspect, but also
Just
you,
like
you don't want to have
logistics.
your schedule from like 5 a.m. till midnight.
Oh yeah,
like,
I mean
jam-packed.
one of my
Then you
work
end up
colleagues.
really tired.
This is a bit off topic, but one of my work colleagues, I asked like for people when I was like booking my trip, for people who've been to Japan, like what would you recommend, or like do you have any like cool things to do? And someone was like, oh yeah, I'll send you a copy of my itinerary, and like their itinerary was literally like 10 a.m. to 10:05, walk to the cafe, 10:05 to 10:10,
Drink coffee or
order
whatever,
breakfast, 10:10 to 10:15, eat breakfast, 10:15 to 10:20, walk to train station or whatever. Like they had just like factored in every minute of their day, and I was just like,
they have times to like go to the bathroom.
yeah, I was like, what happens if you need to go to the toilet, or like what happens if you like miss a train, or like if you have to wait at a traffic light or something,
or
like
if the
that.
cafe's like a bit busy.
Yeah. So I don't want to do
have like military.
Yeah, I mean,
position.
I don't know how much of that they actually stuck to.
Yeah, actually,
I think
a work colleague of mine also, I think he said his dad, like when they go on family trips,
Yeah.
and I think like one of the bits he had like literally like a 10-minute window that was like enjoy time with family or something. It's like, isn't this supposed to be the whole holiday?
The whole time, yeah. I mean, so I think I'll probably just try and do like plan like a morning activity and an afternoon activity.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like doable.
And that's what we're doing we're going to Adelaide at the end of Feb.
Yes.
We actually are. I guess this is relevant to dream weaving.
Yes.
So we're going to go to Fibre Feast, which is on the Sunday morning. So we're there for 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And so we're just kind of planning. We're actually there at the same time as the Adelaide Fringe Festival, which actually has 2 crochet
Things.
exhibitions or events, which are actually I think at the same place. One is called Calm, and it's like, I don't think they're all crocheted, but it's some of them might be woven or knitted, but it's basically an exhibition of like mandalas, but like crafted mandalas.
So
And-
are we going to that?
well, that's the thing. I think maybe not. And the other one is called Hooked, and that's just like crochet. But I think the reason why we probably won't be able to go, I think the only day, it's not open every day.
Oh, okay.
And so I think the day that it is open, that coincides with when we're there, is the day that we don't have a car.
And it was like, so that must be on the Saturday then.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we only have a car for 2 out of the 3 days, and where it is, I think, is about an hour's drive out of the CBD of Adelaide.
So it might be quite difficult
so I think
with public transport.
Yeah, so I think...
And I suppose then, because I feel like when we looked at the program, we were like, oh, that exhibition's free, we should definitely go to that. But like if we had to book another day of car hire, it would make going to that quite an expensive activity.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think we may not be able to go there. But I think there still is some other like potentially fibre-y, arty things. Like there's this place, I think it's just in Rundle Mall, that I think is called like the Fibre and Textile Arts Collective. It's like a bit of a gallery that's near the National Gallery.
Yeah.
So we can probably have a look at that. And yeah, I guess we'll try and we're going to go to the Chihuly, which is the glass sculptures
Exhibition
in
at
the
the
Botanical
Botanic
Gardens. Yes. So but then for my specific dream weaving, I just have to reach down and grab this. It's on the floor. I unfortunately, if you remember from our last episode, I said I promised to have cast on a baby project, and Pia said that she wouldn't make any guarantees.
But I did.
And
I
Pia,
did.
No, and that's the thing. Pia actually has,
did.
but I haven't. But I've at least
a
I've
pattern.
printed a pattern.
Well, you chose a pattern. I suppose that's
Yes.
a lot of getting started, is choosing the pattern.
Yes. So this is my dream weaving. Is this pattern? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. It's called Mosaic Goldfish, and the designer, like the
Cool. It kind of
website,
looks like those like Siamese fighting fish.
kind of, yeah,
That people
or like
keep in
those
very small containers, which is
like
a bit cruel.
ornamental, like gold koi or
Kois.
something, like those goldfish with that really sort of like
Fan tail.
extravagant
It
tail.
looks like they're wearing a ball gown.
yeah,
kind of. Yeah, I feel like I've seen some meme or whatever that's like, why do all these fish look like they're wearing a ball gown?
yeah. Those really over the top goldfish. The blog that it's from is called Sweet Softies. I think it was a free pattern. Like, she has YouTube videos, but if you wanted like a printed copy of the instructions, it was a paid for pattern, but it was only, you know, $3 or $4. So I thought instead of having to keep opening up YouTube, I'll just purchase. And so I think you can probably see from the picture that you can do sort of like sort of various different colors of goldfish, and she actually has on the body, I'll just hold it away from the camera so you can't quite see like all the full details, but she has 4 different options for like the scale pattern on the body. So yeah, I think, and it just uses fingering weight cotton, which I've got loads of. So
and so you'll be able to make a few different color combinations.
Yeah, and so my plan was to make a couple of fish, and then I can hang them on a mobile, because I think fish on a mobile would then kind of look like they're swimming.
Yeah, swimming through the air.
So that is my baby project. It's not really casting on, chain on. I don't know what you say for starting a crochet project. And then the other main dream weaving thing that I thought I would mention is, I know I saw from, what's her name? Sarah Sewed, that Dupes Designs have their fabric is currently open for pre-orders. So I was thinking about purchasing some fabric to make either a t-shirt or a dress. They have so many, honestly, you could spend like $1 bazillion and buy like a kilometre of fabric from them. But no, the 2 ones that I did, I'll find pictures of them. The 2 designs that I did quite like, it's called Love Bite Robin, which has like some birds on it, and Diamond Hearts. I'll show you those. I'll put up photos on the video, but I'll show you as well. So I was thinking about either of those, to maybe make a dress or a top. So I think that is more or less my dream weaving. So I think that's probably
about it.
About it, all we've got for. I did mention this in our knit and chat video as well, but for this year I'm trying to do not like a complete yarn buying ban, but just that I have to use up 200 grams of yarn to be able to purchase 100 grams of yarn. And at the moment, I think I haven't bought anything this whole year thus far. Go me. But I have used up about 300 grams. So at the moment, I'm only at, when we go to Fibre Feast, I'll be able to purchase 1 skein of yarn.
Well, I mean, we're going to do a lot of knitting on the train, surely.
Yeah, I'll just be like...
And so wait, do you consider that you have to have finished the project before the yarn is like used up?
Yes, yeah. Okay. In my mind, if the project is still in progress, the yarn is still in my stash. Because I guess some projects hard, like you do end up like pulling things out and or never finishing it kind of thing. So in my mind, it is a finished object when you have bound off, but you don't have to have woven in all the ends for it to be finished. I probably should like change my mentality around that. But
because that maybe also would just give you motivation to weave in the ends as well. Like if you're like, oh, when I do this, I can like, then I'm allowed to buy something.
That is true. So yeah, it's going good so far. I used up 300 grams, purchased 0 grams, and hopefully, and I think at the moment I feel very motivated about it. Like I feel like happy about not having purchased any yarn this year. You don't feel like that you're depriving yourself. No, I don't feel that I've missed out. At the moment, I feel good about the whole situation. So hopefully it will stay that way. Yeah. So I just thought I would mention that as well. But yeah, I think that's all we have for today's video. I think this was a bit of a long episode, but I guess we did
have had a lot of finished
stuff
objects
to
and whips and that,
talk about. So thank you if you did
stuck it out to the end
with the whole episode. If you did like the video, I think obviously if you're still watching, you did like the video. So please feel free to give us a thumbs up and do all the YouTubey things. If you aren't subscribed to our channel but you would like to see more videos, we try to do once a month a podcast episode like this, and then also a knit and chat where we just choose a crafty topic to talk about. Like often it will be like a bit of a review of an event that we've been to, but sometimes it will be
our
something
next
else.
Knit and chat, that might be a recap of our Adelaide trip then. Do you think
I would say so, probably. And then I've also started doing this year, I've only published 1 so far, but it seemed like a few people did like it. I'm calling them Crafty Moments Vlog. So I just vlog throughout the entire month, and then I just put it together as a monthly video, mostly of like making stuff. stuff, whether it's like sewing or knitting or whatever, but then just a few other snippets, bits and pieces of sort of just general life stuff.
General life stuff, but with a crafty / would you say cottage core vibe?
Yes.
Sorry, that was my stomach growling.
Oh, better go. Let's go eat some biscuits. I went to the farmers market this morning and bought some nice biscuits. So, anyways, yes, thank you for watching this video with us, and hopefully we will catch you in another video in one of our future videos.
Yes.
So, yes, until our next video, we wish you happy stitching. Bye.
Bye.